we managed for this evening as well. Hello, Christina. How are
Hi,
you doing?
hi,
Hi,
Juliana.
Juliana.
Hello there. Hello, Nicoletta. I mean, if I okay, Christine and Themistocles, I would recognize them, but all the others, sometimes I know the names, and sometimes I remember little bits of the um, email address. But if I met them outside in the street or something, I wouldn't recognize them. I mean, I'm not good with faces anyway, but of course, I always see, okay, I see letters, dots, and that's it. But I mean, every so often when you put your video on, it's nice seeing some faces. Otherwise, mm, it's a bit odd just talking to letters. It can be very odd. At least I think with you it's a bit different because you see me and that you know. But poor you just see me. Anyway, um, evening, Roberta. One thing before I forget, Fastweb and Gmail don't like each other. Okay, so very often what Gmail does, um, gets all my email and chucks my email into the spam folder. So whoever doesn't receive my emails, remember I am extremely precise with these things. So every Wednesday around 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes even half one if I manage to be early, I always send the email with the homework. So if you don't receive it, go into the spam folder and find it. If you have problems, write to me. And I had a couple of students writing to me, and so sometimes I use, when I see that is a problem, because I get all your emails bouncing back saying, oh, your email is being refused because it's spam. uh, and so I use my Gmail address to send new emails. It's a pain in the neck, I promise you. But anyway, I can deal with it. So check your spam folder if you don't see my emails. Um, this is for the, I don't know whether this evening there are new students. Just in case, if there are new students, I give you my Fastweb address. So if you want to receive the material and everything for the lesson, you can write to me and you can get it. So Juliana.Dorothy at Fastwebnet.it. Okay, this for the new students. Okay, and we saw, I think tomorrow, no, the day after tomorrow, it's a holiday, or tomorrow is a holiday, even in Italy. Um, and I've noticed everybody celebrating Halloween, even though it doesn't belong to the Italian culture, but it's very commercial, selling pumpkins and monsters and this. Someone told me, I think someone who works or has something to do with kennels, that around Halloween time they stop giving black cats and black dogs out for adoption, just because people just use them for 2 days and then they abandon them. I mean, this people is crazy. Just because black cats and Halloween and all this kind of idea of magic and monsters. Anyway, not tomorrow. It's the day after tomorrow, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Saturday. Anyway, this evening I've got what we could do if you want. We could carry on with one bit of the very long article about the language, so you sort of don't forget what we are doing. So we can do maybe one little bit. This one is particularly short. Then I got the news, and then I have the video, which is quite interesting. And then maybe one evening we can start off with some translation, if you like it. I have the usually this for the new students. I have very short sentences to be translated into English, and they're good because in this way we revise grammar without noticing it. Um, Again, studying rules, it's boring. Instead, if you have a sentence and you manage to see maybe that it can be translated in 2, 3, 4 different ways, that you can use the conditional, you can use something, the present perfect, and etc. in different ways, then the sentence stays with you and you don't need to memorize the rule. And this is the idea behind these translations. And uh, and then I wanted to ask my old students if they don't mind. I was half thinking of uh, doing a couple of lessons on pronunciation. You remember, I think a couple of years ago, we did the most common mistakes Italian people make when they speak English, when they get confused without long vowels, short vowels. And the idea that is not just the vowels, which are different in English, but also consonant, that way you put your tongue in your mouth is different. We could do that. And then the idea of the emphasis you put on words and the way you join words together when you speak English, which helps then students when it comes to understanding. So if you want, I can maybe I sort of spruce it up a bit. Do you know spruce? We do it with pillows. You know, when you pillow is flat and you spruce it up, it becomes nice and big again. So I could do that and add something new, and we can try. Okay. So now I'm going to share the video. All right. Okay. Okay. So this is the slowly we are getting there. Come on. Okay. This is my, wait, I canceled this one. My credential to access Unipop. Okay, and this is, okay, right. Move you out. Okay, I think we are ready. Okay, can you see it properly?
Yes.
Good. So,
Is it too small? If you can,
too small.
yes.
I think it's you then.
Oh,
Because what about the others? Can you see it properly, or is it still too small?
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Because sometimes it's the way you have organized your screen. Someone once explained it to me, but I completely forgotten. And so you cannot see my screen properly, but this should be okay. And then you should have all this with you because I sent it to you. Right. Okay. This is the second bit of the story of the English language is listening comprehension. First, we listen to the recording, we fill in the gaps, and then we can answer the question. We have some true, false, some vocabulary, and that's it. It's a very short one. Okay. So first, just listen and relax, and then I'll repeat it again. Stop, and you give me the words. Okay. Why isn't it working? Let me see. Okay. Just tell me if you can hear it properly.
2. The story of the English language.
Can you hear it?
A bit slow.
It is, isn't it? Okay, let me see.
The story of the English language.
Is it better?
English is not just...
This is good. Yes.
Okay, good. So just listen.
2. The story of the English language. English is not just a language. It's a history book, a linguistic melting pot, and a living, breathing organism that constantly changes. What we speak and write today is the result of centuries of invasions, migrations, cultural shifts, and technological revolutions. To understand how English came to be the way it is, linguists usually divide its history into 4 main periods. Old English, from 450 to 1150, Common Era. Middle English, from 1150 to 1500 CE. Early Modern English, 1500 to 1700 CE. And Modern English, 1700 to the present. Each of these periods brought significant changes in pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. And together, they explain why English can be so fascinating and so frustrating to learn.
Okay, I have an external speaker which improves the audio, and it's on now. So you should probably hear it better. Okay, I'm going to repeat this so you give me the words, okay? You can write it in the chat.
2. The story of the English language. English is not just a language, it's a history book.
Okay, very good. History book.
A linguistic melting pot, and a living, breathing organism that constantly changes.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Organism that constantly changes. What we speak and write today is the result.
Okay. What's the difference? Okay. What's the difference in pronunciation between right and right? No difference. When when children are small, if you when you start teaching them, if they're not left-handed, um, uh, when you want to tell them what the right is, you say you write with your right hand. Okay, and so they sort of associate right with right. Okay, which is a little trick. So here it says, okay, what we speak and write
Like today is the result of centuries of invasions, migrations, cultural shifts, and technological.
very good. Migrations, definitely. Invasions, and very good, Federica. So migrations and cultural shifts.
And technological revolutions. To understand how English came to be the way it is,
Very good. Came to be the way it is.
Common Era, mid-history into four main periods, technological revolutions. To understand how English came to be the way it is, linguists usually divide its history into four main periods. Old English from 450 to 1150, Common Era. Middle English from 1150 to 1500 CE. Early Modern English, 1500 to 1700 CE.
Very good, yes. So it's 1500 and 1700. And we did it there.
100 to 1700 CE, and Modern English, 1700 to the present. Each of these periods brought significant changes in pronunciation.
Very good. Brought significant changes. Yes, very good. Yes.
Significant changes in pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. And together, they explain why English can be so fascinating and so frustrating to learn.
Very good. Yeah. So can be so and so okay, so fascinating and so frustrating to learn. Well done. Okay, now you can answer the questions because you probably remember everything. So, first question, a comprehensive and authoritative account of the history of English has recently come out in print. Is it true or false? Yep, very good. Number two, English has remained mostly unchanged over time. Is it true or false? Yeah. I'll go like this. Number three, linguists distinguish four main stages or periods in the historical development of the English language. Yeah. This is true. And each period in the history of English brought changes to pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. Yeah. And we will see all these changes, and it's quite interesting. And again, you know about the language, you know what happened to it, and then you sort of instead of learning, you understand why you do things and you say certain things in English, which is a lot easier for students instead of learning as if it were a sort of formula. You just understand why you do it, and you say it. Okay. And these are some words you probably heard. You definitely heard the word melting pot. You probably know what melt means and what pot means. Let's put them together. Okay, very good. Everybody's is not cooking utensil in here. A mix of different elements blended together. Yeah. Well, you know what pots are. If you get a big one, and for example, Halloween, you can have your melting pot and put stuff in and start preparing some potion. Okay. Is definitely not an invented language, and is not it is a container in which metals or other substances are heated until they fuse. But here you see, I said in the text, because it can be a container in which I think in Italian you can say un calderone or something. Yeah, calderone I think is the correct word for melting pot. And then we have the adjective. The adjective living, breathing suggests, two adjectives suggest that. English, okay. Unmanageable, okay. English is a dynamic and evolving entity that constantly grows and adapts. Yeah, very good. And again, the word frustrating in the passage most nearly means confusing, boring, not difficult, or annoying or difficult. Okay, very good. And then the last one. CE is a secular alternative to AD, Anno Domini. Is it true or false? Yeah, it is true. The meaning is common era, and it's been substituted, or some people substituted it to Anno Domini because, of course, Anno Domini is sort of more Christian and Catholic, while C is secular and no connection with religion. Okay. There is the other one, okay, which is BCE, which is before the Common Era, and it used to be BC, which is before Christ. Okay, this is the other substitution. This the Anno Domini, and this one is the before Christ. Good. So we've done everything. Is everything clear? Good. Okay, I'm going to send you, remember that what I always do usually on Sunday, this is more for the new student, I all the notes or whatever we say during the lesson, I produce some notes and I send you the whatever we've done during the lesson, the link to my Dropbox, so you can go download all the recordings and play them again, do the lesson again, revise whatever you got to revise. Now, I'm going to close this. Right. And then you could choose, okay, the choice is either we do another one of this lesson on language, which is all the English, the Germanic foundation, and etc. Or we could do the news, which I prepare every single lesson. Yes, it is Anno Domini. Is AD equal CE. Yeah. It's been substituted because, of course, not everybody wants to have to do with religion, and so that's what happened. But you can use either. Okay, so we can choose the news, the third part of this lesson. Okay, news. We can do a little bit of news, is quite good. And then instead, the third part and then the news. Okay, we could do a little bit of the third part and then a little bit, and then the news. Yeah. Maybe what we could do, I know what we could do. We do the third part, just the listening comprehension. So we have a look at the text, we listen to it, we do whatever we got to do, and we answer the true, false questions. And then we do the news. And next time we can carry on. Okay. Number 3, let me open it. Okay, and I'll move you out. It's getting the screen organized. Okay. Yeah, I got everything. Right. Okay, for this one, what I've done, you see, before you listen to the recording, underline the correct options and then we answer the questions, okay? So what I've done here, well, this is my way of doing grammar. You have a choice. So you tell me which one, in your opinion, is correct. So the Romans first were invading Britain in 55 BCE. Okay, everybody's saying invaded and everybody's correct. Okay, because they did it. Okay, it's not while the Romans were invading Britain, there is no while, and so invaded is a fact. Under Julius Caesar, but it was not up since or up until 43. Up to, since or until. Okay. Well, could be until, and up to, well, up to 43 is more towards the future, up to 5 o'clock, but later on. Okay, up until is more 43, looking more towards the past. I put them both, and then you tell me what the recording says. Under Emperor Claudius, that they brought, established, or made control. Which verb is correct? Yeah. Established. Because they established control. Bring control? No. Make control? No, definitely. So you establish control. This is more collocation. In Italian and English, remember, there are collocations. Collocations are difficult. For example, in Italian you say una pioggia forte. In English, you say heavy rain, una pioggia pesante. There are collocations. It's the way you use some words and you combine them together. And this is a collocation. So you establish control. Okay. Bringing roads, towns, and the Latin alphabet. When the Roman troops withdrew themselves, withdrew themselves, withdrew or withdrew themselves. Very good. You definitely can't use themselves because we're talking about Roman troops, and you don't use a reflexes with withdraw. You just withdraw. Okay, so withdrew around 410 CE. Britain was left vulnerable to, at, or for. Wait, I can't see. To, yes. Vulnerable to. One thing to do, and it's always a good idea, whenever you come across a new word, for example, let's think you've never seen vulnerable before. You look it up in the dictionary and you find that vulnerable to something. Learn the preposition while you're learning the word. So next time you don't have to go and look at the preposition. For example, you interested. Okay, you go look up in the dictionary, you find interested in, and learn interested in something. So if you learn a little sentence, you ask, for example, ask someone for something, you already have the prepositions in a very, very short sentence, instead of just learning the word alone. Okay, so was left vulnerable to new waves of settlers, the Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes, and the Frisians. They spoke relative, relating, or related West Germanic dialects. Okay. Oh, so, okay, remember, is related. Relating usually, I'll write it somewhere here. Okay. To. Okay, relating to something, equal, means connected. Connected. Someone has got the microphone on with something. Okay. For example, I like anything relating to maths. Okay, meaning any connection to maths, or anything relating to maths is a complete mystery for me. Okay, so relating to something means connected with something. Related, okay, means again connected. But you see, here they spoke related West Germanic dialects, means connected, and you can use it as a sort of, for example, in sentence like, directly related. Okay. It's used to describe something which has a connection. So relating to something, connected with something, and related equal connected. Okay, because it had a connection with Germanic dialects. Okay, which eventually blended into Old English or Anglo-Saxon. Okay, Old English was a very different language as of from modern English. Yeah. Yeah, from modern English. It was a nothing highly inflected language. Very good. Okay, did this thing remember? I was telling students even last year, remember that when you mention something for the first time, usually you use the determinative. You say the man. Sorry, when you use the first time, you use the indeterminative article. So, for example, you say, I saw a man. Okay. The second time, when you refer to it, then you use the determinative because you say, oh, the man I saw before was walking down the street. So here is the first. It was a highly inflected language, okay, with nouns, adjectives, and verbs marked for case, gender, and number. Again, remember that English in the old days was, as they say, inflected. And inflected, the meaning of inflected means Italian is a very inflected language because you have the verbs change all the time. Zero article is when it is something, as you use the zero article when you're talking in general. Again, there are exceptions, but for example, I say, I like dogs, you see, in general. But the dogs I like are those in the courtyard. You see, I'm specifying the type of dogs I like. I like children, all the children, but the children playing in the room next door are very nice. You see, I'm specifying. So just to give you an idea of the rule, if you don't point your finger at anything, usually you don't use the article, okay? Because I like children, you see, you're not pointing your finger at anything. But the children I like best are the ones next door, you pointing your finger. Okay. So it was a highly inflected language with nouns, adjectives, and verbs marked for case, gender, and number, exactly like the Italian. Okay. more. Okay. Let me see if you can see it. I'll make it slightly bit smaller because otherwise, okay. More, more the same of, more as, or more like. Okay. Exactly, more like. I'll tell you why. Okay, remember that the same as, always. When you find the same as me, the same as my brother, okay? So when you, the same of is always wrong. Okay. As and like, if I remember, we did it last time. So remember that like followed by a noun means similar. Antonella was saying similar to, so like modern German or Latin. As, if I want to use as with the same meaning as like, it has to be followed by, for example, with nouns, adjective, and verbs, mark for case, gender, and number, behaving as if they were. I need a subject and the verb following if I want as to have the same meaning as like. Okay, so for example, do as I say. I know that very often. Remember that you will hear people say, do like I say. When you talk to your friends, you can do it. If you decide to take a test or an exam like the first certificate, the advanced, or the proficiency, definitely not, because it's still wrong. Someone has got the microphone on and is interfering a bit, because as you see, in order to have the meaning of like, meaning similar, has to be followed by subject and verb. People say do like I say just because they make a mistake. If you give it another 10 years and it will be in the grammar books, but at the moment, if you want to be precise, it's wrong. And instead, like your mother means similar to your mother. Okay, but you behave as if you were. Okay, is do as say, as I say, do as I say. It is polite. You can say it. It's an order anyway. It's a I say, could you do as I say, please? And then it becomes extremely polite, but you need, it's a Nicoletta, it's an order anyway. So it depends on the situation, probably. If you are a bit abrupt and say, do as I say, then it's not rude, but it's quite abrupt, more than, but it's perfectly correct. Okay, so remember the same as in order to have the same meaning as like needs a subject and the verb, and so we're left with our like. Okay, word order was flexible. In Italian, you can throw words in any order. The word order in Italian is not that important. In English, remember, is now. In modern English, is fundamental. In the old days, word order was flexible because endings showed who was doing what to whom. It's quite interesting. You know that my students always know that. Okay, this is very important in English. Do you know what this is? My old students know. Let me see. Can you remember? Yes, that's it. It's subject, verb, object, manner, place, and time. This is the word order in English. Remember that when in doubt, if you follow this, the sentence is correct. Okay, you get your subject, you get your verb, you get the object, you get the manner and the place and the time. So you say, I like English very much. You wouldn't say, I like very much English, would you? Because it sounds odd. Okay, while in Italian you do. Mi piace l'inglese molto, mi piace molto l'inglese. You see, it's normal. While in English you want my verb, my subject, my verb, my object, and then the manner. I like English very, I like English very much. In Turin the other day. Why not? Then sometimes the other day can go at the beginning, but usually remember that this is very important because English has become extremely uninflected, and therefore you need to know who does what. Okay, so words like king, house, man, earth, and water all date from this period, all these nice words. In the 9th century, Viking invasions took, brought, or carried. Which of the three? Yeah. Brought Old Norse, another Germanic language. You see, remember that you when you introduce something, you bring it because it comes towards you. Remember that very often you take it somewhere else. Come here and bring. This is not. And bring me a cup of tea. I put please because otherwise it becomes a bit. You see, come here and bring a cup of tea. Take a. Go there and take a cup of tea to your mum. Say, if you get this, and bring. So remember, when you come here, you bring. When you go there, you take. As simple as that. In Italian is one word. In English, you have two. So, for example, if we go out and I'm out with a friend, and I can ask the friend, "Oh, please, can you take me home?" So let's go home there, please. And when I arrive home, my husband could ask me, "Who brought you back? Who did you come here with?" Okay, so if you associate come here with bring and go there with take, you know the difference between the two. Okay, last line, many Norse words became part of English, including sky, egg, knife, even Thursday. Thursday comes from Thursday. This mixing of languages was the first step towards the rich, varied vocabulary that English is known, titled, or notorious for today. Very good. Remember that notorious in English is negative. He's notorious for its crimes. Okay, in Italian, a notario means everybody knows this guy or this whoever. In English, if you are notorious for something, means that you did something really bad. Okay, yes, infamous. Yes, it is. It is. Famigerato. Yeah, it's known in a negative way. Okay, now we can listen to the recording, if I can find it.
Old English.
Wait. I'll turn it up a little.
Old English, the Germanic foundation. The Romans first invaded Britain in 55 BCE under Julius Caesar, but it was not until 43 CE under Emperor Claudius that they established control, bringing roads, towns, and the Latin alphabet.
So you see, it was
When the Roman, but it was not until 43 CE.
It was not, sorry. It was not this up, I don't know why. Okay. It was like this. It was not until, because up to very often, if you come up to a certain point, up to a certain moment, but usually it's up to now. Okay, so it doesn't refer to the past. So you wouldn't say it was not up to 43 because you don't have the sort of the present. Okay, up to now is fine, but not up to 43 CE because it's referred to the past. So I have to use until. It was not until 43 CE. Okay.
But it was not until 43 CE under Emperor Claudius but they established control, bringing roads, towns, and the Latin alphabet. When the Roman troops withdrew around 410 CE, Britain was left vulnerable to new waves of settlers, the Angles, Saxons, Jutes, and Frisians. They spoke related West Germanic dialects, which eventually blended into Old English or Anglo-Saxon. Old English was a very different language from modern English. It was a highly inflected.
Well, settlers are people who go and settle. You know, if you settle, basically you decide to live in a place and you make yourself comfortable. I would say more people who decide to go and live there, they're more sort of colony, more than invaders, which is a bit more negative. If you settle, for example, you decide to move to Milan, okay, systematic, very good. You move to Milan, and after a week, I phone you and you say, well, you know, I'm settled, meaning, "Oh, I'm okay, I'm comfortable, I got all my stuff." Stabilirsi, sono coloro che si stabiliscono, ok?
It was a highly inflected language with nouns, adjectives, and verbs marked for case, gender, and number, more like modern German or Latin. Word order was flexible because endings showed who was doing what to whom. Words like king, house, man, earth, and water all date from this period. In the 9th century, Viking invasions brought Old Norse, another Germanic language. Many Norse words became part of English, including sky, egg, knife, and even Thursday, Thor's Day. This mixing of languages was the first step toward the rich, varied vocabulary that English is known for today.
Very good. So we can do the true and false, and then we do the news. While you're remembering, that's the reason why I'm doing the true and false. So, true false. Julius Caesar successfully established permanent Roman control over Britain in 55 BCE. Sorry. It was just, let me just check. Okay, the Romans first invaded Britain. They first invaded Britain, but it was not until 43 under Emperor Claudius. And so I wouldn't say so. Okay. Roman rule in Britain introduced both roads and the Latin alphabet. Which was a mess, because remember that what they started doing, they started using this Latin alphabet to write some sounds which didn't exist in Latin. And so, of course, the scribes, we will learn, they found themselves not having enough letters to reproduce the sounds. And therefore, that's the reason why English, when it comes to writing and etc., is such a mess. One of the many reasons is also the Latin alphabet. It was only limited, didn't have letter enough for this kind of sounds, odd sounds, the Anglo-Saxons had. Okay. After the Romans left Britain, Anglo-Saxons and Jews and the Frisians arrived and settled. Number 3, is it true or false? Yeah. Old English had a rigid word order because case endings had little importance. Yeah. Very good. And the word Thursday is of Old Norse origin. Very good. Okay, and then next time we do the quizzes. Now we can do the news. I'll send you again also all this stuff. I'll close this, move you out a bit. News. Okay. One.
BBC News.
Wait. 2. Okay. And the news. I did the news very late last night. I don't know if you noticed the time I sent you the email, but it was late. So I hope I haven't made any mistake, haven't forgotten anything. So this is 29th of October. Listen to the news. The first one is nice and easy. Fill in the gaps and answer the questions. There are listen comprehension, vocabulary quiz, and a little pronunciation quiz. Okay, first listen to my friend.
Israel says the Gaza ceasefire is back in force after carrying out deadly strikes on Tuesday. The territory's Hamas-run health ministry says more than 100 people were killed. Israel launched the attacks after accusing Hamas of killing a soldier. It says it targeted 30 militant commanders, but local health officials say children are among the dead.
Okay, is she too fast or all right? How do you want me too fast? Fast? Shall I slow it down a little? Okay. Too fast, but I need to practice, so it's okay. Poor Federica. Fast if you want. Oh yes, fast if you want to write it down. It's impossible. Remember one trick. If you want to practice, then you know that I always send you everything. If you want to practice, first relax, slow the woman down. You can do that. So you listen to the recording at your pace once, and then you put it back to normal. And so your brain slowly starts accelerating. If you try to listen to stuff and the stuff is too fast for you, you're just getting frustrated. So you slow it down, you listen to it once, and you say, okay, I can manage this. Then you go back, you put it back to normal speed, and you listen to it again. Okay, now I'll stop so you can write down.
Gaza ceasefire is back in force.
Wait, sorry.
BBC News. Israel says the Gaza ceasefire is back in force after...
Okay, very good. Ceasefire is back in force.
Fire is back in force after carrying out deadly strikes on Tuesday.
Very good. Yes. on Tuesday. Okay. When we do the pronunciation, I will show you how articles, auxiliaries, prepositions, and etc. They all have two pronunciations. One is the sort of fast one, and the other one is the one when I put the stress on. Okay.
Force after carrying out deadly strikes on Tuesday. The territory's Hamas-run health ministry says more than
This one, Hamas run. Very good. Yes. Very good. Health, health, health and safety, national health. Do you know what the NHS is? Everybody in England, very good. That's it. Is the what we would say la mutua in Italian? No, it's not security. It's national health system, and is the la mutua.
territory's Hamas-run health ministry says more than 100 people were killed. Israel.
Very good. Were killed.
Israel launched the attacks after accusing Hamas of killing us.
Okay, the attacks, very good. After accusing Hamas of killing
After accusing Hamas of killing a soldier, it says it targeted 30 militant commanders, but local help.
Very good. How many? Very good. So just listen to the number.
Says it targeted 30 militant commanders, but local.
Very good. It says it 30. Okay, it says I need the subject. It targeted 30 militant commanders. Very good.
It says it targeted 30 militant commanders, but local health officials say.
Very good. Yeah.
But local health officials say children are among the dead.
Yeah. Among the dead. Very good. Death, remember, death is the noun. Okay. The dead is the adjective. Okay. She is dead. Are among the people who are dead. Okay. So are among the dead. They are dead children. Okay. And death instead is the noun. Okay, true or false? Israel has confirmed that the ceasefire has completely broken down. Is it true or false? It is false. The airstrikes on Gaza caused over 100 deaths. Let me see. 100. More than 100 people were killed. Okay, so it is true. Israel accuses Hamas of killing one of its soldiers. Yeah, very good. And now the vocabulary. Carry out, because I think it used it, carrying out deadly strikes on Tuesday. Okay. What's the meaning of carrying out? Perform or execute an action or operation. Continue without halting despite difficulties or setbacks. Very. Be overcome by one's feelings. Behave in a silly or annoying way. Someone, well, if you continue without halting despite difficulties or setbacks, I need a different preposition. Which one? This is carry on. Okay. So nice. If you are overcome by your feelings and you start doing being sort of overwhelmed by feelings, and you start sort of maybe behaving, showing your emotions a bit too much, you are to be or get carried not over but away. You know, be carried away, you start showing your feelings a bit too much. And if you behave in a silly or annoying way, again, could also be carry on. It can be also used when people behave in a silly way. The way she carries on could be sort of negative. Carry out means to perform or execute an action or an operation. Okay, very good. So it's this one. And then we have strike. Strike in this context, because otherwise, that strike has got quite a few meanings. Is it a protest at work, a military attack or hit, or a discovery of oil, gold, and etc., or unexpected or complete success? Which of the three? Very good. In this context, it could be a protest at work because you go on strike. If you strike gold, you find it. Okay. And again, it can also be unexpected and success because you strike gold. But in this context, it's only this one. Okay. And now this word bugs me a lot because sometimes students correct me, because in Italy, there is a sort of a television program, and the television program has this name, and the Italians pronounce it in a way. Okay, the stress in this word, where does it fall? Does it fall on report or no stress? Okay, it does. It's on the port. So it's report, okay? It's definitely not a report. If you go to England and you start talking about report, I promise you, people won't understand you. Because you see that the way it's pronounced is completely different. So it's report. The final ed in this word is pronounced as t as in Turin, d as in dent, it, or it's silent. Oh, we got all the letter in the alphabet. So, launched. It's T. Okay. Launched. There is, wait, I've got it here. Wait, I'll make this one. I'll move you up. And I get you back. Remember, there are 3 ways to pronounce ed at the end. There is one way to pronounce it which is always wrong and is ed. So there is no ed sound to pronounce the past in English. It can sound t, d, and id. It sounds t again when it's easier to say a t because of the ending of the verb. The rule says when a word ends in an unvoiced sound, you put your hand near your throat and your throat doesn't vibrate. If I go s, your throat doesn't move. Sh, your throat stays the same. Ch, again. P. So, past, placed, washed, wished, watched, matched, stopped, trapped, locked, and the set laughed, coughed, frothed. Because it's easier. When you put your hand near your throat and you say the consonant and your throat vibrates, well, you pronounce it D. Z, it vibrates, B vibrates. So, buzzed, amazed, grabbed, robbed, bugged, tagged, loved, craved. It's nice and easy. It, remember, when the words end with T or D. Of course, you want to hear it's a past, and so you pronounce it. Waited and retreated, handed and ended. Okay, I'll send you the rule. So, launched. Okay. And before you listen to the news, underline the correct option. Let me see what, we still have 10 minutes. Okay, this one. Large parts of Jamaica are remaining or remains without power? No, okay. Remain. Well, remember that remain is considered more or less a stative verb. Sometimes you can find it in the continuous form, but it's not very often. So, is remain is referred to large parts of Jamaica, so it's plural and must be this one. And then without power, following afterward the island was hit. Yes, very good. After the island was hit from, with, or by. Very good, because it's a passive. The strongest storm in its, his, or their modern history. Very good, yes. Because it's not referred to a person. Hurricane Melissa was now moved. Very good. Has moved on to Cuba. And there are reports of deaths in Haiti. Okay, now listen to my friend and check.
Large parts of Jamaica remain without power after the island was hit with the strongest storm in its modern history. Hurricane Melissa has now moved on to Cuba, and there are reports of deaths in Haiti.
Okay, number one, the storm that hit Jamaica is considered the deadliest storm in history. Dead storm in history. False, yeah. Because it's strong, you see. The strongest storm in modern history is hearsay in history, so it's technically false. There have been stronger. Hurricane Melissa is going back to Jamaica after gathering momentum. No, it's moving away. Thank God for that. Report mentioned fatalities in Haiti. Yes, it is true. Okay. Find the correct collocation. Fatalities. Fatalities means people, dead people. That's fatalities. Fatality is when someone dies and you start counting. You count the fatalities. Nicoletta. Okay. It's people being killed. Okay. Collocation. This is we have to find, would you say storm, a changeable storm, a heavy storm, a severe storm, a hard storm? Which one do you like? B, and B, definitely heavy. And also C, you can say severe, but you wouldn't say changeable and you wouldn't say hard. Power. Power in this context refers to electricity supply, political control, influence, or physical strength. I think it's the electricity supply. Let's go and check. Without power, large part, there is no electricity. Okay. So electricity supply. And the pronunciation quiz. I love this thing. True or false? The H in this word is silent. Is it true or false? It's false. You pronounce it. Hurricane. The S in island is silent. It is true. Because it's island. So remember that in English, when something is silent, you ignore it. Okay. And now you know it. the final ed in this word is pronounced as, gosh, you're quick, moved. Okay, because v vibrates and therefore you get the D. Okay, not the A, no. The A is more, sounds like marked, finished. You see, k, ch, s, past, helped. The sound T is after sound. You put your hand near your throat. You say the consonant of k. Your throat doesn't vibrate. Sh, ts. There is no movement in your throat. And it is easier if you think about it. It's easier. For example, if I say, okay, if I say finished, I can say it nice and easily in one go. Imagine it to say finished. I have to stop to be able to say the. And therefore, I need something nice and easy. And it goes finished. Helped. If you wanted to say help, you see, if you go helped, it's like saying helped, and it sounds odd. So it goes helped. Okay. So while here, move is odd. Trying to say t after the is very difficult. So you say moved. You say opened. Moved and opened. Nice and easy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, just listen to the next one.
And there are reports of deaths in Haiti. As voting continues in Tanzania's election, a curfew's been announced in the country's largest city, Dar es Salaam. Leading opposition candidates were barred from the vote, leading to protests in some areas.
Okay, you see that listen to the recording and fill in the summary. Here is the summary. Listen to it again, and as Tanzania's elections proceed, authorities have imposed a nighttime. I'm not telling you how to pronounce this because there is the in Dar es Salaam, and you have to tell me what Dar es Salaam is. Okay, repeating what she says in the recording. Several main opposition figures were barred, sparking demonstration in parts. Okay, barred from something, you know that is barred from. Let's see if you can do it.
And Melissa has now moved on to land. Large parts of Jamaica remain without power after the island was hit with the reports of deaths in Haiti. As voting continues in Tanzania's election, a curfew's been announced in the country's largest city, Dar es Salaam.
So Dar es Salaam is the country's. Did you hear what it is? Yes. So the country largest city. Okay, and
continues in Tanzania's election, a curfew's been announced in the country's largest city, Dar es Salaam. Leading opposition candidates were barred from the vote, leading to protests in some areas.
So we're barred from, very good, from the vote. Yeah. Okay. Have you got time to do this? We still have a minute. Number 1. This was introduced before the election began. Is it true or false? False. Very good. And some opposition candidates were not allowed to take part in the vote. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. And applies to the capital city? Yes, I think it does apply to the, because it says the voting on the Tanzania election has been announced in the country's largest cities, which is Dar es Salaam. And then you see, is it true or false that the R in this word is silent? Do you know? It is true. Okay. And this FEW in this word is pronounced like the word few or few? A or B? Very good. Yes. So is curfew. Okay, curfew. And you know what? Do you know? No, it's B. Curfew. It's few. Exactly the same as few. And do you know what few is? It's a kind of very. It was for stress. Yes, it is. Very good. Yeah. Are you a friend or a foe? Have you ever heard this expression? Are you a friend or a foe? Yes. It's a sort of an old, very literally expression, means an enemy. And so it's used in the expression, are you a friend or a foe? Friend or a foe? Okay. Right. Good night to everybody. Remember the new students, please write to me. I've written my email address at the very beginning. I'm going to do my paste and copy of all the lesson. And well, have a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Okay, I'm done everything. And well, see you on Thursday.
Good night.
Thank you very much,
Bye-bye.
Juliana. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Namaste. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Namaste.